If you've ever worked on a video project, you know how distracting silent moments can be. They break the flow, make your content feel less dynamic, and might even lose your viewers' attention. Today, I'll show you a clever way to remove silence in CapCut on your PC, not by cutting out entire sections and risking a choppy edit, but by simply muting those silent parts. By the end of this tutorial, you'll know how to fine-tune your audio so your videos stay engaging, crisp, and perfectly polished. Alright, let's jump right in. The first thing you want to do is spot those unwanted silent sections on your timeline. Maybe it's a pause during your narration, some dead air before your next scene, or just background noise that serves no purpose. It's pretty easy to miss these when you're editing fast, so take a moment and play through your footage, watching for drops in the audio meter or those visible flat lines on your waveform. This step might take a few moments, and it's totally normal to catch little silences that you didn't notice before in the filming process. Once you've identified a silent section you want to mute, you need to isolate it before making any adjustments. In CapCut, this is done by splitting the video right at the start and end of the silent portion. To do this, simply move your playhead to the exact place where the silence begins, and hit the split tool. Want a smoother edit? Try zooming in on your timeline so you can split right at the precise frame. This will make sure you're not cutting into actual audio or leaving a scrap of silence behind. Do the same at the end of the silent section, so the silence is snugly wrapped in its own segment on the timeline. Sometimes users worry about splitting clips. Don't worry, CapCut doesn't lose any video data by doing this, yes. Now, with the silent segment nicely separated from the rest of your footage, it's time to deal with the sound itself. Click to select the silent section. You'll notice that the panel on the right updates with more choices. Look for the Audio tab, generally up in the top right of the editing window. This is where you control pretty much every aspect of audio for your clip. Inside the Audio tab, you'll find a slider labeled Volume, usually showing you the current dB level. Just grab that slider and drag it all the way down to 0. What this does is mute only that specific part of your video, meaning the visuals stay untouched, but the audio drops away completely. This technique is really handy if you're working with footage where the silent sections have important visuals you don't want to delete, like a screen recording during a pause, or someone holding up an object before speaking again. By muting rather than cutting, you keep the look and flow of your video consistent and avoid accidental jumps or mismatches in your footage. And here's an extra tip. If you're editing conversations, interviews, or vlogs, this method can be a lifesaver. Let's say your guest pauses to think, or you have a brief lull between questions. Instead of a jump cut that looks unnatural, simply mute the audio. Viewers won't hear the hesitation, but the visual context stays, making your edits feel way smoother and more professional. Once you've muted all the sections you want, play back your project from start to finish. Listen closely for any lingering pockets of silence, and double-check that the flow feels natural. Remember, don't worry if it takes a bit of tweaking to get it right. That's part of the editing process. You might need to adjust your splits or ensure the mute doesn't run into words or important sounds. And that's it. You've just refined your video's audio without sacrificing any key visuals, helping your project shine with a polished, professional sound. If this tutorial helped you tidy up your timeline, be sure to hit that like button, drop a comment if you have any questions or want more editing tips, and don't forget to subscribe for more straightforward guides just like this one. Happy editing, and I'll see you in the next video.